Uh, Good morning, good afternoon, whichever part of the world you are in. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor and a privilege to interact with really brilliant and bright minds who are open to share and to listen the best practices that makes a workplace an inspiring workplace, right? So I'll just quickly take a moment and share my screen. All right. If I can get a thumbs up, if you guys are able to see my screen.
We've
I
got
think
it.
yes, I can.
Perfect.
I as well. Great. So thank you so much. Those who do not know of TaskUs, let me just introduce quickly TaskUs and then myself. TaskUs is we just celebrated our 17th anniversary, and we are close to 60,000 plus people globally, about 14,000 plus in India. And Asia is our biggest market. Within Southeast Asia, we're about 37,000 people, and India is about 14,000 plus. And I think Taskus has seen a very rapid growth in the last few years. One of the things that really makes us, or rather, let me say, probably we call ourselves as a differentiator, is just give me 1 second. Yeah. We call ourselves as a differentiator because one of the things that really makes us very different from the other organizations or the competitors, we believe, is always believing in one thing, which is we want to build a place where people matter. People are sitting right at the center of strategy. People are sitting right at the center of the DNA that you want to build as part of the organization. And that's how Bryce and Jasper, our founders 17 years back when they started this organization from a very small place in Philippines, is what they thought of, because they could really sense and feel that the value that people bring onto the table, there is no way you can undermine that and grow the organization. With that, I think and that was one of the college secret sauces, has been people who have joined the organization through the years, also how to really immerse them into the culture. One of the things, or a pre-hiring criteria, has always been, would the person fit into the culture and understands our people matter ethos. I think that's been one of the foundation or founding principles. Going along with that, when you call it keeping people right at the center of the strategy, that's part of everything that you do. Is where do you want to take business, right? When you say people, it's not only employees. People is also about giving back to communities. It's also about build an organization who listens to its clients and its customers. So I think these three-dimensional approach has always helped us when we sit and discuss about what's next, what's new, what needs to transform. One of the most important things there is, um, how would this decision impact our own people? How is this decision going to impact the community and then our clients? So I think when we have the answers in a room full of people trying to brainstorm, think of the next best benefit you want to launch, next business that you want to expand, next city or the geo that you want to grow into, I think these are very critical key decision making factors, right? So I think that's where we have found that's our starting point. Let me just quickly talk about what makes us unique, right? And some of the differentiators I already mentioned about place where people matter. And these are the differentiators. When we say people first, is the comprehensive support, the programs that we develop for them, right? Um, People is also about the compensation that you offer to them, but also about the benefits that you're creating. One of the things, and I'm going to double click on it as we move along the discussion, is, are we really caring for their physical, mental, their psychological and the societal requirements, right? When I call it physical, what kind of medical care, healthcare plans do you have for them? But I think we have gone one step forward, and we don't not only focus on employees' healthcare plans, but we also cover today their spouse, their kids, and even their parents in India. So we have customized our healthcare plans for our employees, not only going by what matters to them, really the extended families that they are responsible for, because culturally in India, people are also responsible for their parents. So yes, it costs you money, it requires a lot of investment, but at the same time, it really matters to them, right? It takes a lot of their um, stress away, saying I can focus on my job while the company is taking care of my uh, not only my healthcare but also my family's. Getting into also the mental well-being, we proudly say that we are the only BPO who have its own wellness and resiliency function built in, where we have the trained, certified, qualified psychologists on our roles, who are counseling people. Not only, usually the industry has been focusing on people working into the content moderation industry require wellness and resiliency. However, we have made it, we are offering it to all our employees across the different verticals, across the different clients that they are supporting. And that's been very well appreciated by people. This program does not limit only till their employment, but after a certain period, even post employment, if they want to seek help. Going to even the societal and the psychological, I think I covered in mental. Societal, every society is so different. Even within Asia, you would see Southeast Asia, like Philippines to India to Taiwan, Malaysia. All the countries have some cultural nuances that we have kept while building these policies, right? While building what matters to people. Just to give you an example, like in India, the societal pressure on growth, be it financially, be it from a title standpoint, the career is very, very important for people. And I think the next step forward of where people matter for us is where their success matters. We have built a lot of academy programs within TaskUs where people can enroll themselves, they can complete their trainings, they can get certified before they apply for the new roles. So we're not telling them come with a qualified degree and then only the next level is yours. Rather, we are focusing on creating that content which will enable them to do better, be it on their leadership qualities, to build their soft skills, to build their leadership skills, and even the skills required from a job description standpoint for the next level. That doesn't limit them only to the function that they are working in, right from recruitment to learning experience, operations, going into workforce management, quality. There are multiple academies created within this umbrella that you can choose to get yourself upskilled on and then apply for the position within the same function. It makes the journey pretty smooth for them because we know we are giving them an option. It's for you to choose where do you want to train yourself and where do you want to ultimately grow, so that you're not confining yourself to one function that you entered into organization with and you end up being into that function itself. So we've had some classic success stories where people moved from one to another function and then learning all the facets of the industry. So that's about really people first. And when I move to my next pillar, when we call it second city focused, that's also very much correlated with the first pillar, which is people first. You know, so when you go and decide where do you want to really create more jobs, because being part of the BPO industry, one of the things that we do pretty well is create jobs by the virtue of the business objective that we have and the growth that we want to attain. And where is a very big question mark. One of the principles that we have kept again here right on the top and in double quotes is take jobs where the talent is, not the other way around. Search for cities which offer very good talent. You probably will have to go and build a little bit of ecosystem in terms of getting the leadership, building your own upskilling programs, investment into people, because they might not see a lot of employment opportunities outside and not a lot of experience that they might get. However, they will value the jobs the most. And by doing so, you're also creating a value for the community. We strongly believe that's the best community service that you can do, is creating more employment opportunities where the cities do not have enough employment options. Today in India, 60% of our business happens out of tier 2 cities, which is the non-metro cities, where the living advantage for people is they don't have to leave their families, their homes, and they have to move to crowded metro cities just for the sake of employment. And that has worked very, very, very well. I call it a market value proposition because that works very well for people. That works very well for our clients because you see less attrition, less shrinkage, people valuing the jobs, bringing in more efficiencies, better productivity. You in turn are able to pass on those benefits to your clients and becomes a very successful strategy for TaskUs. And then all of this has to be backed by innovation, because if people know that we are not going with the trending times, like today's the time of AI, how do you build skills or empower people with artificial intelligence to do their job in a better way? Every company is trying to still, I think, navigate how AI is going to impact them. We believe AI is rather going to empower our people to upskill themselves and to do better jobs and do more complex jobs. Simpler jobs can be taken care of by technology and by innovation. You know, so these are the three, as I said, a journey from talent to innovation. We believe has been extremely successful and important for us. And then offering benefits, I did cover some of the healthcare plans, the engagement piece. Engagement is not only about doing an engagement activity, but it's also about how leaders are connecting with people. How well are you doing your 101 sessions, having heart to heart conversations with your people? Going one level down, two levels, three levels down, running focus group discussions with our frontline associates, right? Also, it is about engaging them into the business strategy. The multiple surveys that we roll out during the year when we are trying to transform uh, our say rewards and recognition framework, we're trying to transform our engagement framework for the next year. With launching a new site, I mean, starting from even the naming convention, we would go and ask our frontline teammates, what do you suggest? That brings in a lot of value that they have a voice at the table. Healthy food subsidy programs in Philippines, we run Food Forward, where the free meals are offered to employees, and against that, they can donate to community alongside the ridiculously foundation programs that we have been running. Some of the inclusion groups that I have mentioned here down below, we call it the employee resource groups, which is Black at TaskUs, Global Wellness, Women at TaskUs, Pride, where we support LGBTQ community. I think from an inclusivity standpoint, every region is different. The needs of every region or every country that we operate in is different. And that's how the focus on these pillars that you see as part of inclusivity as well. We call it our ridiculous people and practices and benefits in India. Let me just double click on it. Our leave encashment, what industry does is pay it off at the time of separation. We just changed it. We said we don't want to forfeit anyone's leaves. We don't want to hold it till you decide to separate from the organization. We do it at, we pay it off at the time of work anniversary. uh, Birthday, maternity, adoption, paternity, bereavement. These are some events in someone's life we feel that are important for them to take time off and focus on their family priorities. We have ensured that all of that gets covered into the leave policies. Health insurance, which includes parents, are standard across all levels in terms of their needs. Next Gen Scholarship Program. This is my favorite. This is anyone below the manager level. They're up to their two kids Their tuition fee is supported by TaskUs. The idea is we want to invest into the next generation's education and do not want to deprive children from getting the best quality education that they can, because we believe this is a very big contribution to our employees children's future and also to communities future. Hope Beyond Life something was something that we launched right after COVID. When we lost a lot of our employees to COVID, and we realized that when the families are stranded right in the middle, when something happens, something uneventful happens, in we thought we need to support those families. So today, in an event, in an untimely death of an employee, the family is supported with medical insurance program for next 2 years. Some part of compensation is given to them as part of like based on the employee's salary for next 2 years. Their kids are covered for next gen scholarship program for next 2 years. And the fourth benefit is any one of the family members who meets the requirements can apply for the job at TaskUs and would be given priority, so that they have a long term sustainability and support. Our employee wellness, I did talk about. TaskUs Academies, a career progression program, is loved by our employees. And as a result, 70% of the jobs that we offer are all closed internally. So that's a very big thing that we take pride in and works very well for retaining the best top performing talent. So overall, success starts with us. We believe that people's success matter for us. It's been 17 years. We've been, I think, just doing that. Every time we come onto the table for our planning sessions, we promise ourselves that let's keep focusing on people, process, technology, and transformational growth. Never forget that these are the people who make us, and always got to be at the forefront. So that's about it. And this is all about creating a high impact organization. I would just say that I think if we never forget our founding principles, if we never forget what made us, what brought us here, keep it right at the center. While what brought you here will never take you to the next level, you always got to keep transforming, run with the trends, run with where the industry takes you, etc. But never forget your DNA. That's how I would close it.
Amazing, excellent. Thank you, Sapna. I mean, wow, you've clearly put a lot of thought into the design of what you provide for your people, and in building an amazing culture as well. And just blown away, even thinking of the next generation too. Like that is some serious forward thinking. Yeah, amazing. You're obviously thinking so much about it. We've got a few minutes for questions, and we've had
Yes,
some come through as you've been speaking. So if you're comfortable, I can throw a few questions your way.
sure, absolutely.
Okay, excellent. So yeah, we've got around 10 minutes. People are joining from different platforms. I think we have YouTube, LinkedIn Live, StreamYard, and our website. So on there, if you can see the comment box, pop a question in there. If you have a question, and we'll try our best to get to it. But whilst we're waiting for a few more to pop through, we have one that said, "With all your growth, has it been difficult to maintain the culture that you need?"
Yeah.
So,
So, yeah, growth comes with its own challenges, right? I mean, growth never comes like, okay, fine, you're just increasing people, increasing numbers, increasing your revenue. The challenge is how do you sustain, how do you keep every time you have so many new hires, right? uh, Keep repeating the same thing, I think. And uh, I always believe that it's whenever you get into a problem, you realize that there is a pocket where your culture is not being imbibed and seen in the right direction, right? You would see those pitfalls for sure. And one of the root cause analysis, the reasons that will come out glaring at you is somewhere you miss the basics, right? It's
mhm,
always going back to basics, right? The way
yeah,
you have been onboarding people into your culture, somewhere that got diluted because there's just so much to do for people. right? So never compromise on the basics, which we believe, like onboarding people into the organization, is extremely important. And when we say people matter, at the same time, and their success matters, it's absolutely important that um, we so let me share one very interesting thing, the way I
Mhm.
was onboarded into TaskUs with. And my trainer, when he onboarded me, said, we never call ourselves as a TaskUs family, we call ourselves as a team. And I was,
Mm.
it was strange. Over the period of years, I always saw organizations calling themselves as XYZ family. and and he gave me a pretty strong logic. He said, when family something goes wrong, if one person is pulling you down, is not following the guiding principles, the culture, the values of the family, you don't cut that person off, right? You still call
Mhm.
them as part of family. But when you are a team, imagine a soccer team, imagine a cricket team. When one person doesn't perform, the person or the entire team knows the person has to go out of the team just to
Yep.
ensure the rest of the team performs, right? So people matter does not mean that you compromise on your performance standards and do not hold them accountable, right? When everyone believes that we are a team player here and everyone has to pull the strings up, if someone is pulling you down, there has to be performance management, and everyone has to take it like with a sports spirit, right?
Mm.
I think that resonated with me so well. And that's the expectation that we need to set into the organizations, where we say we are people first, but everyone's success matters.
I love that. I'm going to take some of that into my own family and say we're not a family anymore. We're going to operate like a workplace, and we're going to have some crucial conversations if people aren't pulling their weight. Yeah, I love that. That people matter ethos, I think, is so important, and obviously you stand by it, and it's very core part of your culture, as you've explained.
Yeah,
Does it get challenged during tough commercial times?
it does. I mean, the commercial pressures continue always, right? And
Mm.
that's a very big debate on, and that's why I said, when we come onto the table and decide on what's the next best thing that we can do for our people, at the same time, what's the next best thing you do for your clients when there are commercial pressures, right? I think we go back and take very data-based decisions. There are times we've realized that there are some benefits that we are offering. Example, a healthcare insurance plan. The certain
Mm.
category, the certain benefit is not being used. The claims are not high. I mean, what's the point of even keeping it there, right? So taking very data-based decisions rather than emotional decisions, or rather than coming under pressure and taking commercial decisions, doesn't work. And then one of the things that really help with your employees is have a very transparent conversations. Gone are those days where people will make assumptions. I think if you go back, you tell your people what you're doing and why you are doing it, they do understand, right?
Mm. Yep.
The world is not anymore, and you know, especially in our industry, 80% of our workforce is less than, say, 25 years of age group, which is
Mm.
mostly Gen Zs that we are dealing with, and they are much more aware of what's happening
Yep.
around the world, what are commercial pressures, why are the decisions taken. If you give them clarity, they would understand, adapt, and rather partner with you.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent. We've got another question that's dropped in from YouTube this time. It says, "How do you get good value from your employee resource groups?" I'm guessing that's from the comment you made. You've got them
Yes.
amongst different regions. We get that question an awful lot because I know sometimes they work really well and sometimes they don't and get forgotten about. So yeah, good question. But yeah, over to you. How do you get good value
Yeah.
from them?
So, as I said, every region and country is so different that there is one particular employee resource group who's shining in that country, while all the employee resource groups are working towards, every country wants to do best for their community,
Mm.
and become an inclusive organization. We have ambassadors within the employees who become part of the employee resource groups, and who really take, who are very passionate about each of the ERGs, and who would take it forward right through the committee meetings, who are,
Mm.
what are the actions which are. And certainly there are people as part of these employee resource groups who can make, who are influential, who can make decisions, who have the empowerment to make decisions and take the ERGs to the next level. Just to give you an example, like we do participate in Pride Week, right? We have a pretty large LGBTQ community that we support, and that's very well recognized, appreciated. At the same time, and that's majorly in Southeast Asia. When I look at India, there are a lot of people who find themselves and who find their inner calling to be part of the the social service, the volunteer activities that we do for
Mm.
NGOs. There are more than 9 NGOs that we support.
Wow.
There are a lot of our employees who would want to go to orphanages and give their volunteer hours teaching kids. There are people who believe that their passion and inner calling is going and focusing on sustainable living, would go and do probably the weekly plantation activities and things like that, right? So it's a
Mm.
constant drive. It doesn't happen on its own. You have to have people who are part of these ERGs, who are super passionate about why do you want to be part of this ERG and take it to the next level. So
Excellent.
constant effort, I would say, of the leadership influence in these ERGs also matter a lot.
Yeah, but passion's a secret ingredient. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, there's another question as well, and it says, what benefits do you see from offering so much internal movement? So I'm going to guess that that's because you mentioned that stat just before about how many people get employed from within the business.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was an amazing stat that you shared earlier. That was phenomenal. What was it,
Yeah.
40% or was it larger than that?
70% plus, yes, career
70%.
progression
Wow.
opportunities.
Okay.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So one of the things is, as I said, there is no one joins an organization to fail, right? Somewhere,
Mhm.
I think either the person, and why people fail is probably we didn't do a good job at hiring, we didn't do a good job at training them, we didn't do a good job managing the
Mm.
performance, setting the expectations right, getting the right value from the person, right? And it didn't work out, right? People who succeed, as I said, the first day when they enter the organization, everyone wants to be successful. Number one, right? So the willingness is there. The
Mm.
second is, if someone has cleared all your toll gates, right, from hiring to training to proving themselves into the top performing bucket, that means the will has to be has to be there, right? The numbers are telling you there. Getting to skill. If we are building these academies where we are asking people, go get yourself certified, that means you have to do these many hours of training, sit through some of the webinars, sit through some of the mentor sessions where our mentors come, talk to them. They do take assessments, tests, and that's a long journey for them to clear those. Once you have cleared those, you've also shown that you have the skill to do the job right. Then what's left is probably the leadership capabilities that we need to develop in them, right? And that's the next step. I think creating these toll gates, creating academies makes our job very easy to find and select people who are hungry for growth.
Mm.
And they would want to do every day, they would wake up with saying, I want to make a difference. So you've really cleared that path. And because when you're hiring from outside, somewhere you're playing a blind bet, right? Just basis some assessments and interviews, you might not know how the person is. So that's a very strong
Mm.
belief that your internal employees would always be your advocates, would always understand the culture better, would always onboard your new hires better. So you have won half the battle there, right? The value that you get is, I think, their inclination towards making sure that they share their own success story with their team members. I think half of your job is done. So it's an immense value, I would say. Yes, there is more responsibility on our shoulders. How do we keep upskilling them? Because they have not done the leadership role outside. You're suddenly
Mm.
in our industry, from a teammate to a team leader, you suddenly become responsible for 12 to 15 people, right? And
Yeah.
not every you suddenly, not an individual contributor, you're responsible for their performance as well. So there we have a power up program where within first 3 months of their promotion, they have to complete certain trainings on leadership development and get certified even on that.
Amazing. Excellent. Well, it's something that you clearly put a lot of thought and a lot of effort and a lot of investment into, but you're seeing all the rewards from it. I want to say thank you again for your time, being so generous with sharing the insights, a lot of tips and ideas. I had my notepad out taking notes here. So I appreciate the time, Sapna. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and all the best. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Albert. Thank you, everyone.